I want to share with you what Google came up with in a recent study they did. It's called Project Aristotle. They studied 180 Google teams around the world. It included a mix of high and low performing teams. Over 1,500 interviews were conducted. And they analyzed over 250 different team attributes. They looked at things like age, generation, longevity with the company, mix of men and women, education. There were 250 different things that they thought would correlate to high-performing teams. Let me share with you what Google said had no correlation, and it's counterintuitive. It's really different than what most of us would guess. Co-location of teammates, meaning they were all working in the same place. Consensus-driven decision-making. Typically, we think decision-makings by consensus are the best way to go. Individual performance, team performance. Workload quantity. Seniority, how long they'd worked there, again, nothing. Team size. There's an asterisk on this one because this particular study did not find a correlation with team size. However, there is enough other data that shows that team size does matter. 15 to 20 is sort of the maximum size for effective team. Google said in the best teams, members listen to one another and show sensitivity to feelings and needs. How do you create psychological safety in your organization? You want implementable ideas, don't you? Here's some of the things that Google came up with. Group-driven lunches. It's not you as the leader say, hey, once a week we're all going to have lunch. Someone in the organization says, hey, it's Sally's birthday, let's all have lunch. Or let's celebrate the success, let's have lunch brought in this week. And then you as the leader support that. You pay for it or you arrange it, but it needs to come from the grassroots, not from you down. Share life stories. Encourage other people to share the stories of their life as well as your stories from your life. How was it growing up? What lessons did you learn as a child, as a young adult? What things might be a value to other people on your team? Take a risk. Be vulnerable. That's you. Take a risk. Share one risk you've taken this week at your weekly staff meetings. Say, I risked this, and try not to be the hero. Try to share risks where you failed, because it encourages others to fail. If you're always the hero or always having to be the one who said, look, I took this risk and it came out great, then they're not as encouraged to admit their mistakes. But if you're vulnerable, if you share that with them, they're more likely to try new things. Laptops down during meetings. I was once in a meeting in Silicon Valley with 30 people listening to the VP give a presentation. It was an all-day presentation, and their laptops were up the whole time. And they were not taking notes. They were getting their email and working on projects, and I don't know about you, but I think that's rude. I know you're not going to like this, but I think the same is true of our phones. You might try, in a staff meeting, say all phones in the middle off. It can wait a half an hour. It's respectful. It's showing you care about what the other people are saying. What are some ideas you have of what you could do tomorrow on your team to create some psychological safety? So I'm going to give you 90 seconds to come up with as many ideas as you can on what you could do back at your office. Who would be willing to share one of their ways to create some psychological safety? Let's give Chris a round of applause for being brave. Yay, Chris.
So I came up with an idea for psychological safety. You would have a brainstorming room, and it would be themed with every worker's favorite thing they love to do, or could be an actor or games or anything that provides brainstorming.
Oh, how cool! Like a little cubicle or something, but it's got fun things.
Yeah.
And it's for when, if you and I are on a team, we go there to brainstorm, and we're surrounded by creative things. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah.
I like that.
At the end of the day.
I like that. And it costs very little to try. Excellent. Let's give Chris a round of applause for sharing. Thank you, Chris. Who else has an idea? You're already doing it. That's great, and there's always more, isn't there? There's always something new and different. And so that's why there are many teams here from the same organization. I encourage you to go back and have this conversation within your organization and say, how can we create more psychological safety within our teams, and share those best practices with each other on a regular basis. But let me share my favorite quote, which goes like this. When you give me some of your money, it's only money. But when you give me some of your time, it's a piece of your life. We so appreciate you spending the day, investing the day, to learn how to be even better leaders